While traveling, it's usually best to pack light. When it comes to money, carrying some cash and having an alternative like Zelle is a great idea. Zelle's an easy way to send and receive money with people you trust. At any U.S. bank, it's already in thousands of different banking apps, and it's money straight into your bank account in minutes fast. Look for Zelle in your banking app today. Safe travels.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.
Put that long day behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open. You'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to the tavern. Our topic tonight, just so everybody knows, is can the left and right be friends? We'll get a little more into what that means in a couple moments. First, let me let you guys know this is an adult show with adult topics and language. So if that is not your bag, baby, it's time to claim your luggage and leave the airport because we're about to take off. Oh, right. I'm Travis Sivart. I'm a host and author. You can find my books on Amazon. Just search for Travis I. Sivart. That's Travis, middle initial I, Sivart. You can find all kinds of stuff from me. And also, we have various podcasts you can enjoy. Not just Talk at the Tavern, but also Stealing for Survival and Write Night, where me and a couple writers do stuff. Okay, my vices tonight is I am sampling the very sweet Crown Royal Vanilla. And then I also have...
Andrea.
What's that?
I thought you were sampling Andrea. You said very sweet.
She's a bit vanilla sometimes, too. But other times, she's very spicy. It's nice. And in my first pipe I ever purchased, my GBD here, I have a blend I put together out of two others. Cornell and Deal, Vanilla Cavendish, and Dark Cherry Cavendish. So I've got these here I'm sampling. And I'll get to Gary's comment in a couple minutes. Let's have Andrea introduce herself first.
Hi, Andrea LeChat here. I just finished this blanket.
Yay!
So, no more vice of that, but I'm very warm and toasty, and I do have some water. What about you, Ed?
Hey, what up, people? It's me. It's Ernest T. I am drinking water and sipping on a little bit of rosé.
Very good. Very good. Now, damn it, what was the other thing I want to say? Guys, post your stuff in the chat. Let us know about that.
Show us your stuff.
Damn it. There was something. I don't even remember what it was. What do I... Oh,
Keep
right.
talking.
I remember now. For those of you listening to the podcast, we have a live chat audience here on twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk, and we record these podcasts live Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're always welcome to join us live at twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk for chat. It is subscriber only because that's a little benefit of being here, and so we don't have random people wandering in just interrupting everything. Our moderators, please keep an eye on folks who do pop in case they need to know that we are recording a podcast and we'll answer questions unrelated afterwards. Also in chat, we will read off comments. When you hear this noise, it means I want to read some comments. And we might not read them all, but we'll read the most entertaining and or relevant, which usually all of them. For example, Gary's already throwing his 2 cents in with, yes, I can. I'm a conservative with a jackload of leftist friends. Hold on. Big ol' scroll. But, It does help we were friends first. Friends before they became leftist, or you became conservative? He says, one person, though, did call the authorities on me for not wearing a mask in a restricted area. Okay, I don't know if that's a left or a right thing, but that's a thing. Right now, that's definitely a thing. Dave says, drinking Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve, and just lit a Macanudo Gold Label, a nice mild to medium body cigar. Well done. And Joe says, here's my stuff. And he put up the eggplant emoji. So we can guess what he's enjoying tonight. I just have to ask, is there a separate tab with porn up, or are you just playing with the eggplant while watching us? Asking for my mother. So, the topic tonight, can left and right be friends? Oh, toast. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. Here's to loving your left and your right equally.
I love them both. Both her left and her right.
Mm-hmm. And let's see if Cogsley has any words of wisdom so we could drink twice. How about that?
Okay.
Cogsley says, the hardest thing I ever did was shut up long enough to listen to someone who knew more than I did. From Mark Yarnell. And that's a very, very true and important statement right there. I just finished that vanilla. It wasn't as sweet as the caramel I had in the last show. And I'm going to try the peach, which I'm kind of terrified of. If I can get it open. Shouldn't use the teeth, but I am. I'm going to need pliers to open this fucking thing. So, with can the left and right be friends? We're talking about conservatives and liberals. Basically, people who hold what the news and society points out as opposing views. We're going to talk about this. Now, we're going to avoid political topics, per se.
Okay.
We're not going to dig into which side is right or wrong, as much as we can avoid it. But, so those of you in chat, well, we will mention items, but yeah, not necessarily discuss them in depth. And I have to go get pliers. Ed, would you open the show while I go open my goddamn drink?
You damn weakling. Go get your pliers. Hurry up.
Is it not even
Just
weak?
pick a different bottle. Oh my
You
god.
back yet?
Okay.
Hurry up, run.
Fuck it, let's do this.
You got different things there. Just get something else. Oh my god, you were up earlier. You couldn't have done that before?
I've got...
Or I was up. I could have got you the pliers.
I've got some Glenmorangie 12-year and 14-year. How about I just drink those?
The 14.
14? You think so? Okay, I'll do it.
14, yeah.
Now, fun fact, I've got to try to clean out the glass of that sickly sweet crap from Crown Royal.
Let the cat lick it. It'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I took my pants off for that. It turned out really well. Oh, this has a thing on it. I should wear my glasses. Okay, so...
Do you want me to say some stuff?
Please, say some stuff.
All right, I'm going to say some stuff. So, when this was first brought up, I'm like, okay, cool. I will go do some research because I don't know what they mean. So, I Googled, the differences, liberal versus conservative, but autocorrect said libertarian. And I'm like, oh, okay, same thing. Well, Travis informed me, no, it's not. Okay, great. So then I went and looked at the difference between a liberal and libertarian, and then the difference between that and the conservative. So here's just a little bit so you know kind of the difference. A liberal, they're usually secular, single, they possess a college degree and less likely to own a gun. Okay, I get that. Libertarian, they're all about pursuing freedom. Freedom of expression. Don't hold me down, type
And they
thing.
were in Braveheart.
See our other episode.
And And they favor personal and economic freedom and oppose most, if not all, of government intervention. Okay. So that's libertarian. Completely different from the other one. Conservative, the breakdown of it is they adhere to social conservatism. They tend to be more religious, likely married, employed, and own firearms. Okay.
I have a couple comments in chat.
Yes.
But when you were... Oh, there was something you said I wanted to comment on. I should have taken notes instead of opening my liquor and pouring it.
So, I mean, do these sound about right? What you
Yeah.
guys are thinking?
They sound
Yeah.
vague.
Vague enough
Yeah,
to hit the high point.
In the sense,
Yeah.
the left, which is sort of liberals, tend to... And by the way, both sides yell, we hate big government, and both sides points at the other side saying, you want more government control. From what I've seen. Now, this has shifted a bit over the past 20 to 30 years, from what I've seen also. I remember in the 90s, Democrats were in power in the American political system, and they always pointed at the conservatives, the Republicans, going, you want more government, we don't. But the next decade followed, where Republicans were often in control, and they pointed at Democrats, especially in this past decade, and said that. So it's interesting to me, and Ed, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, how both sides points at the other going, you want more government control, we don't.
I think when the gosh,
Yeah, I know.
how deep?
Yeah, now I can read comments
Skim the
also.
surface.
Skim the surface, and
Skim the
we'll decide if we fall down a rabbit hole, we'll do what we have to do.
Yes. Both are accusing the other of wanting more government when actually both want more government. It just depends on what the issue is. I mean, when conservatives are like, you want big government, pointing at liberals, they're saying liberals want government to take more control of financial things and
Right.
in their personal lives, and so
Roads
forth
and
and
health
so on.
insurance, etc.
Yeah. When on the other hand of that, conservatives tend to lighten up on regulations,
Right. But buckle
to
down
allow
on
people.
things like
Right.
abortion
Right.
and want that to be... So, yeah, it's a back and forth, which, by the way, I'm going to point this out in the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, thank you for that sub. Much
Thanks,
appreciated.
Now I
Good
got
to
a
see
drink.
you.
Just subscribe.
That's right. Let's raise a glass to that new subscriber. Thank you, Brian, and welcome to the conversation here in the tavern. We might not respond to all things. Moderators will let you know if we're ignoring you. It's not personal. But I just did anyway. So I'll say right here in the beginning, from my point of view, and Ed disagree or agree, Ed, in my point of view, leans Republican conservative.
I am a right-leaning moderate.
There you go. And I am a left-leaning moderate. I like to think of myself very middle ground, but my point is, Ed and I, spoiler alert, have been friends for over 20 years. Gary and I have been friends for over 10 years. So I'm just saying it's a thing. Yes, Ed?
Andrea, questionnaire with those responses.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so you're a right, whatever, and you're a left. What does that mean? Explain, just the basics, kind of like I did with this other stuff. So, what does that mean?
Ed?
Travis, me. A moderate is a person in the middle. Okay, and when I say I'm a right-leaning moderate, it's like, because on social issues, I really don't care how you live your life, what you want to call yourself, or who you want to marry, or any crap like that. But when it comes to money issues and financial issues, I am more conservative. Okay, let's not give money to that country over there. Let's not. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
See, whereas
So I understand that.
again, I believe in middle ground. I want personal freedom, but I want the government is there for a reason. And you do lose freedom anytime the government does something for you. And I know that.
Absolutely.
And it's a balance.
So, Travis, because you're a left-leaning, whatever you said, so what does that mean to you? Like he explained what his was.
I don't approve of the government limiting my personal freedoms, whether it's concerning, things like abortion or owning a firearm, which that's the moderate in me, because those are two opposing things. And people, when you mention one, they will argue the other, and it doesn't even relate.
Right.
And I do want to read some comments here, because we've had some great comments in chat. So, Andrea, do you need
let's
more?
catch up there.
Do you need more than what I gave right there?
No, now I kind of understand where you're coming from.
See, and I love that Andrea is not using this harshly. Yes, learning is better than saying, whether uninformed, uneducated, ignorant, whatever term you want to use, and somebody's going to use it somewhere. Well, probably not here, but...
Here's the thing. I know how I go. I don't label it because I don't know how to label it accurately.
That's fair.
Like, I know what I believe and what I would follow, but I don't have an accurate label.
And when you start to label it, people shove you in a box and fight you.
Yeah.
Which is a weird, fucked up thing.
So even if you don't label it, people shove you in a box.
Well, yeah, they do.
True. Matter of fact.
And so I take it issue by issue.
Right.
To how I...
Andrea's so moderate. Yeah, it's like somebody we've discussed recently in the news who refused to comment on something and got labeled a hater and shoved into a box. Yeah. By the way, a very political statement. Dave says, peach is pretty good. You'll like it if you like peaches. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. He also says, I think right and left are so against each other lately. Do you think it has become worse within the last few years than ever before? And we'll address that. I'm going to read all the comments. Very good. We got a solid yes. Andrea, you want to...
No, I was itching. Go ahead.
I'll
just keep going. I don't want to talk right now.
Gary says, I feel that and also believe the media is responsible for much of this, but politics guides media because money guides media. Media is a form of entertainment. And to sell that form of entertainment, which Gary then states the oldest trick in the book is to set people against each other, it is.
Absolutely.
And it sells whatever you're selling.
It does.
Our side likes this, the other side is against this. Dave replied saying, agreed, I think most media is truly evil. I think they're just money hungry. It's just follow the money. Brian, who just joined us as a subscriber, who has been around before, played poker with him this weekend, by the way. Good times. And I'm going to start reading these to myself before I read them out loud, because I'm not trying to start a dumpster fire right here. So if you have a strong opinion...
This is not 2020. No dumpster fires.
That's right. I thought you meant the news show. I'm like, was it bad? Anyhow, I'm going to read the things because I don't necessarily want to... But I agree with this statement. I dislike what friends of mine, leftists, on Facebook are doing. If you agree with this, I'll unfriend you. I hate that. It teaches no one anything. I do not like that culture that exists now. I hate it. It shows the very worst of what... Now, use the term leftist here, can be. But I've seen it on both sides. I really have. And that's throughout time. Not just this week or this year or this month. But yeah, that's something... We did a show very recently called Cancel Culture. And that addressed that exact thing. The witch hunt of somebody not agreeing with you and you socially burn them at a stake. And potentially ruin lives and careers.
Yeah.
And that is... ignorant and hateful from a group of people who claim not to be either.
Right.
And that's scary because people follow it without thinking it through. Dave, we're doing okay, buddy. Brickle says, I agree. As a leftist, kind of makes me feel uneasy when people simply unfriend each other on serious topics instead of talking about it. And by the way, just for all our podcast people out there, Brian then posts, back to Brickle, high five. Here's what I'm fucking showing you. This is what this show is about. This is why I pointed out the differences in Ed and I. and Gary and I. We can agree or disagree and have a discussion and hopefully learn another point of
And
view.
still be friends.
Right. When you shut shit down without any discussion, that's dangerous. When you blacklist people and throw them under the bus, literally or figuratively, that's dangerous. That's scary. Dave says money is the root of all evil, referring to media. Yes, Andrea.
I was going to say, now, we have the freedom to have our own opinions.
Do we?
And
Go on.
and that's great. But people are like, well, you can have your own opinion, but if it doesn't match mine, then you're wrong and you should die.
And
that's bullshit.
There's been some people who have specifically said, I'm not even going to talk about it. And they get attacked because they will not side with somebody.
Because you won't side with somebody, right?
Yeah. I like to understand, like, I may not agree. And I like to hear other people's side. And then it may change my mind, but it may not. But I'd still like to know why they feel the way they do.
One show we were going to do on Tavern. Ed, may I out your political views here?
Sure.
Ed was a Trump supporter. Possibly still is, though we've discussed...
No, I wasn't a Trump supporter.
Go on.
I was a right-leaning moderate, and as such, I believe he could do more for the country financially than the other guy.
By the way, financially is a very important word in that statement right there. Mm-hmm. Because he has stated the one thing that he was looking at going, that. Okay, not all the other things for anybody that's...
Oh, not necessarily everything.
That's lighting their Molotov cocktail right now and looking at Ed. So there's that.
But I want to say, knowing that about Ed, that makes me understand why he chose what he chose.
Right. And one of the
if
shows...
I agree with it or not, I understand. And that's great. Not just like Trump, where some people are, but why?
Right.
He had a reason, and I like that.
And we were discussing doing a show called I Don't Like Trump, or I Hate Trump, or something like that.
Trump scares me, change my mind.
Thank you. Yeah. Trump scares me, change my mind. And we were going to do this, but then really the dumpster fire flared. And we went, no.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to step away from that topic. But Jules says, society as a whole has seemed to have lost the, quote, we agree to disagree, end quote, and still remain civil. Yeah. Brian says, I make it my business to learn why someone believes a thing. If I still don't like it after having that conversation, sure, walk away from you. I'm going to try to hear you out first, make sure, unless you're shouting in my face. And I think that's fair. And I used to say this about religion, but now I have to say it about politics, too. I love to hear your opinion. I could walk away going, that's a dumbass opinion. But you're absolutely allowed to have that damn opinion. Mm-hmm. And I'm allowed to.
Oh, sorry.
No, go on. Go ahead.
Well, and I think, actually, I came up with the topic out of a headline I read the other day, and it was the headline that said just that. Can liberals and conservatives be friends? Now, I did not read the article, but I was like, we can talk about that. That's a good question. Shit. Yeah.
Here's where I'm going to segue. Oh, I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to segue into something we did a week. I'm sorry, Andrea. Did you have something to add before I go on?
Well, I have. I can wait till after you're done. Okay. I have a comment.
I'll make it quick. Then make your comment. We created something called the Tavern Society. Mm-hmm. And we have 4 philosophies. One of them, number 4, is listen, then speak. Another one is accept other people's point of view and experiences. And there's more to it than that. But essentially it's saying you're allowed to have your thoughts, your reasons, your beliefs, because you have them for a reason. Whether it was ingrained in you, whether it's because you researched and studied, whatever. And this allows, with that philosophy, people to get along without seeing eye to eye. And hopefully to be able to have a conversation so you can find the middle of the road.
Right.
Andrew, what was your comment, please?
Well, I mean, not to. I know we said we weren't going to get into politics or whatever, but it's okay for everybody to have their opinion, and I see why Ed supported Trump, and that makes sense to me because a businessman should be able to make good financial decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he wasn't my choice and I didn't vote for him, okay, majority rules, which that's what we agreed upon. You need to support whoever's in charge, no matter what.
Well, within reason, I'll say.
Well, not no matter what. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You should support your president. Maybe not everything they do.
Perhaps support your country, and your president is.
Yeah, because if everybody's fighting who was elected, then we just fight each other, and when we're broke apart, so then other people can come in and destroy us more.
Right.
Oh, which has been basically tracked and proven for the past.
Which is where we're headed.
Right. Well, I mean, how many other times have we seen social media manipulated by other countries to create the division with us? A couple comments. Brickles says, give me just a second, Andrea. I'll let you keep that thought in your head.
Right.
Brickles says, I once heard someone say that everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Even if it's wrong, they're still entitled to it. Yes. Brian says, my tagline is this: free speech isn't. Go ahead and have your opinion and say it, but be ready to pay the consequences, whether that be people disconnecting from you or punching you in the mouth. Brian, I get what you're saying, but hopefully if you're not shouting in somebody's faces, it doesn't resort to violence. If you're not people think somebody saying something is impinging on personal space. It's like leaning over and yelling so loudly that you can't hear anything else and spittle coating your face. It's not. And some people turn into, you're saying something different than what I believe. I'm going to resort to violence because I don't know how else to shut you up. And I don't think you're condoning violence. I think you understand what I'm saying here.
Yeah, that's what he says. He was being figured.
Okay. Brian says, it's okay to have it, but every human being should be prepared to change their opinion when presented with evidence and reasonable arguments. Or at least consider changing your opinion. Take that into your worldview. Because some people just...
And also... Mm-hmm. Sorry. And also be able to defend your opinion and give why you have that opinion. A lot of people don't do that.
It may not be necessary to change your opinion. Sometimes it's okay to just say, I understand what you're saying there.
That's an important statement. Go on with the rest of it.
Right. But my point of view is this.
For 150 years, Children's National Hospital has provided exceptional care and groundbreaking research. Please donate today to give children and healthcare heroes a reason to believe this holiday season. Visit childrensnational.org/holiday.
Okay, you're starting a meeting of the minds at least. You know?
Here's what I'm telling you. Guys, listen to what Ed opened with right there. I understand what you're saying. So many people don't discuss. They block their ears until the other person pauses and throws things back at them. And then it turns into a shouting match where nobody's listening.
Right.
There's no chance to learn. There's no chance to mediate, to reach an agreement. And that's chimpanzees flinging poo and then murdering the other tribe because they're different. This leads to where humankind is most flawed, in my opinion. Dave says, every president goes through their fair share of bashing, and in my opinion, never heard anything good about anything Trump did. I heard a lot about Trump doing good. And I heard a lot about Trump doing bad. But I also tend to monitor both sides and talk to other people who have views on the other side. Because I want to hear something good about every person I disagree with. I want to know they're worth looking at and going, maybe there's something here. And Ed, your comment that you read for Brian there. Being figurative. Yeah, I get it. Pay the consequence. Simple as, I'm sorry, don't agree, not going to change. The problem is when people, won't even say, I heard you. I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. When they skip that part and just go to, you're wrong.
And that's happened to me a lot over the past several years. I've gotten in conversations with people on certain topics, whether it be Confederate statue removals or whatever,
Well, real quick, Ed, what's your side on that, please?
Leave it be. It's
Why?
history.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
why not?
No, I just want to know why leave it be. Yeah. It's history.
The statue's not going to harm me. It can't do a damn thing to me. And, well, we had the show about the Confederacy. Watch that. And
by the way, I heard the other side.
Well, you know what?
The war wasn't even about slavery and oppression. So.
No, it's about money.
You choose not to be offended by it.
How about that?
Yeah, it's another tavern society thing. Being offended is a choice, not a right. And by the way,
go ahead.
Anybody listening to the podcast, in case this is not clear, Ed's a black guy. Okay? This is important to some people. It's not important to Ed. It's not important to me. But to some people, this is important. And that's the opinion of a black man. Go on, Ed.
Well, in discussions such as that, being a right-leaning moderate, the funny part to me is I have been called more vile names by liberals who are supposed to be standing up for me because of my skin color than by so-called racists. You name it. Pooch Monkey, Coon, Uncle Tom, House Ninja, you name it. I've been called all of that by liberals.
When he said House Ninja, did anybody else have a flashback to the Peter Sellers Pink Panther movies when Kato would jump out of the... Yeah, Brian, there are certain words even black people can no longer say, my friend.
Yeah, I can't say it no more.
Which, something I was going to say with the Confederate statues or House Ninja. I understand representation. I understand the whole thing of microaggressions and removing certain things so they're not microaggressions against race or sex or gender or whatever. I get it. I appreciate that. But whitewashing our history and removing a statue, which may be a point of pride for some, may be a black scar of shame for others. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use black. A dark scar of shame for others. It's worth a discussion. And to remove
it's like,
these...
why would this be...
It's at least worth listening to why it's important to someone else.
Yeah, why would this be a good reason to remove this? Or, what? Yeah, I'd like to know why, not just it's offensive.
And let's not rewrite history, please. Mm-hmm. I went on Wikipedia a number of years ago and saw that the Civil War was all about slavery. It wasn't. It was about money. Yes, Andrea?
Money.
Well, okay. So it depends on where you learn about it. So, because I went to school in Virginia and I went to school up north, Michigan, and the history books are totally different.
Interesting.
So it also depends on where you. Yeah. So it also depends, like how they say there's 3 sides to every story, this side, that side, and what really happened.
And by the way, I'll also say this: even if it's about money, that means slavery was a tool in a political toolbox, which is worse than just slavery.
Well, absolutely. Without getting into it too much, the North was like, we can't free the slaves because the South can't pay the taxes. So, oh hell no, They were never going to free the damn slaves.
No, and the North actually freed the slaves a lot longer after the presidential decision to free them in the South. Yeah, I know, I didn't want to read that on, but I appreciate the humor of that statement in chat. Gary, I think it's obvious he was in northern Florida, which is really more southern Georgia and southern Alabama than Florida.
This is why you need to tune in on the live video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some things we don't read on air because it's a scary world, and we're trying to disseminate thinking and discussion and interaction, not black and white. No pun intended. This is the only way. The only way is to come together, discuss it, and create a solution. To quote a famous quote, you know you've done good in a mediation when everybody leaves unhappy. Because if nobody gets their way and nobody leaves happy, then you come to that middle ground where everybody gives up something. Dave says, off topic. I think the history we learn in school is very white dominant, which is an extremely large flaw with American public school systems. It depends
on who wrote the school books.
You know, Dave, I see what you're saying, and I can't disagree. And it was just a week or two ago on the show that I commented on our Senate and how many blacks, Latinos, Asians, and how unbalanced it is, which is, I'm not saying it needs to be exactly what the population is. I just feel like we should have been further than we are now. Brian, I'm looking at your statement. I'm considering it. I like the end. I'm going to read the last statement first, meaning I'm going to read his second statement, or his first statement second. His second statement is, meaning there may not be an opportunity to have patience all the time, making myself clearer. And the first statement, which is could be inflammatory to some. Let's acknowledge something. We in our chairs can say, have a conversation. People being attacked and shot and chased for who and what they are don't have the time to talk. He immediately goes to like 11 on the dial there. We do not need to take our time about these sort of things. We need to stand in front of them and say, if you won't talk to them, talk to me so nobody has to get hurt. I like the end of that statement. Okay? Now, here's what else I will say. Actually, I should let Ed say this. Ed, do you know where I'm about to go?
Go.
You're going to make me say it.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm make you say it.
Yes, Brian, I agree with you're saying. The sentiment, absolutely. To turn to violence, it is good to get ourselves between that potential violence before it happens. Absolutely. Now, there are other times where violence has happened and it's hit the media, and media has turned that dial to 11. But if you look back, and I'm going to refer to the college thing. Remember when the college students were sprayed with mace on the police line? There was another video that showed 90 seconds before that, where it showed the college students doing things to the police, throwing things, antagonizing them, physically engaging with them, and the police warning them, step back. Everybody needs to step back and move away, or we're going to do this. So this is not always the case, but it is the case sometimes. That there was something that happened that created that escalation, but we only see the last part, the escalation itself.
Right. Rodney King.
Yeah. And by the way, for the podcast, everybody, Brian says, of course I get that. And now I agree with you, buddy. But this is, again, looking at that bigger picture. What happened that caused that? What was that buildup? And the media doesn't show you that buildup where somebody would go, oh, no, I get it. No, on the other hand, there are absolutely some fucking times where somebody does stupid shit, like, and just escalates to violence when there was no reason to. Absolutely. And that's important to see that 90-second lead up too, because then you know that person needs prosecuted. But I think we got off the topic a little bit. It's good stuff.
Well,
Yeah, Andrea?
I have some comments on that.
Go ahead.
I know, and we can't sit here and say, let's talk about it. Not everybody is like that. And sometimes you have no choice but to have violence to get the point across, to bring awareness to a certain situation so it can be discussed and hopefully resolved. And it sucks that way, but,
This is something I've said about 2020 is there was a lot of shit that went down in 2020. And it created a whole churn, to use modern terminology, a whole dumpster fire, to use modern terminology. And I can only hope this brings... That is so interesting, Jorup. I am going to get to that in just a moment. Because I did not realize the young lady you're dating. Because I don't think about it. Yeah. I don't concern myself with it. I'm sorry, I lost track. What, Andrea?
No, go ahead.
Violence. 2020.
Yeah, I hope that massive swing to one extreme brings positive results. Which, by the way, here's a small story of a positive result. I walked into a post office recently to mail something to Alaska. And the nice African-American or black woman, whatever her preference is, said, hey, if you sent this way, it'd be like $6 cheaper. I'm like, great. I don't have a box. Don't worry about it. She's like, I have a box. And this postal worker pulled out a box, pulled out her own tape, which I've had other postal workers refuse to do at points, taped up a box, went, write the address on it, we're good. But the fun fact here, the fun point that I brought this up for is she says, this past month, because this was the end of January, beginning of February, she said, this holiday season, I've seen so many more Christmas cards than I've seen in years. This is a positive repercussion of 2020. People have turned it more personal and one-on-one interaction. Sending Christmas cards is definitely...
That's not one-on-one.
Well, it's more one-on-one than sending a mass Facebook message.
Or text. I hate those. I'll wake up in the morning and 100 people in a group message.
Some comments here. Joe Rip says, I operate on the logic of the great hip-hop artist Mango. Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Also says, I'm dating a black woman, so now it's difficult because every time we go out, I have to watch for rogue General Custers. General Custer had a problem with Native Americans.
I don't understand what that means.
Dave says, I'm friends with leftist people, and honestly, we just avoid political topics. Not that we can't talk through them, we just agree to disagree. I think that's reasonable. I think discussion is better if it is available. If it's not available, just get along.
I've had to hide some of my leftist friends on Facebook so that I don't see them because they don't want to have discussions. Okay, because you engage with a discussion with them and they forget they're talking to you sometime. I even had a friend that told me once, I think anybody that will vote for Trump is a fucking psycho. It's like, did you forget who you're talking to here? Or did you just call me a fucking psycho?
Yeah, Dave says it's not always productive conversation. And that's what I'm saying. If you can create a conversation, not an argument, not two
This
people.
is why I'm not on Facebook.
Which, yeah, by the way, that is a truth. Andrea totally disengaged, deactivated her account. I went in and unfollowed everybody except for like 3 or 4 people. And these people only post puns and kitty pictures. Because I don't go on social media to get riled
Cat
up
pictures.
on either side of the issue. So I don't want... Joe Rupp says, I just hate Christmas cards and people who send them. There's always happier families in mind, never
Fine.
any money. By the way, I've decided on people I actually send Christmas cards to, I want to start including a lottery ticket. It's not a $5 bill, but it's at least...
But it could be 5,000.
It could be, for $1. And considering you spend whatever on a card and a stamp and all that, why not?
Well,
Mhm.
I was going to say, I don't just go out and buy cards. I did this year because I ordered like Terry Pratchett, Discworld, Hogfather cards. But usually we make them.
Mhm.
Color them, draw them.
A couple
personal
people
touch.
have basically said they've backed off social media or lurked or whatever because of this sort of thing. Yeah, social media in many ways, many different social medias have become toxic. When I go on social media, it's a form of entertainment for me. If I want educated on an issue, I will speak to the people that I know have my view and opposing views, and I will go research different things online, different news outlets, and get a variety of input where I can form my own opinion. So, yeah, when people, and this used to be my rule before I basically not unfriended everybody, just unfollowed so I couldn't see their posts.
Yeah, just unfollow.
Right.
Hid them.
They're still my friend, but I want to like them. So I don't see their shit.
Here,
Uh-huh.
lately, for me, I actually have sat down and evaluated. Okay, this person, I have them here on my friends list. We never call each other. We never send each other a private message. We never get together, hang out, and drink a beer. What kind of friend is that? Gone.
I go through that on occasion. I do. I definitely do purges. And it's not personal. It doesn't mean I don't want to like the person. I just have no connection. There we go. Yeah, Brian just said, I'll go through and trim the fat. That's called a purge. And Jules says, I'm not on Facebook. HIPAA laws prevent me from allowing Facebook to randomly upload shit from my phone. Yeah, I don't have the Facebook app on my phone.
Nice.
And the only reason I'm on Facebook is because I had a certain amount of people following the show. And that's the only reason.
Well, that's how we used to communicate during the show, was Facebook.
It's true. When we in 2012, when we went to live internet radio, we had a Facebook event where everybody would comment and we'd read it off like we do to live stream chat now and interact that way. Jewel and her husband Jamin were there for that. So here's what I'm seeing, because we're getting to the wrap up. Ed, any closing thoughts on this before I give mine?
Yeah, getting back to the question, can left and right be friends? It really hit me hard because I found myself evaluating how people react to me, interact with me based on my political beliefs. And I'd like to think, yes, we can be friends because there's something more we have together than our political beliefs. But I am finding that with some of them, maybe not.
In rebuttal to that, some people wrap up their identity in their political beliefs or their religious beliefs or their football team or what car they drive. And if you say something negative about whatever they have wrapped into their personal identity, they take it as a personal attack. Even if you just say, You don't even have to point at an issue. You could just say, I like Levi's over Wrangler. And suddenly you're the enemy.
Oh, no.
And that's a very black and white point of view, and it's a shame, but it's closed-minded that somebody doesn't allow somebody to believe or see the world differently in whatever aspect, from genes to religion to politics. Oh, you know what? Fuck you, Joe. Joe's like, bro, if you're talking shit about Wrangler, we got to throw these... Come here, motherfucker. So, Andrea, your thoughts on the wrap-up here?
I think individually, maybe leftists and rightists can get along and be friends, but as groups, it's going to take a lot of work.
Now, before I throw my closing thoughts in, Dave says opinions on if America's third party, whatever it may be, will they ever succeed? Here's my answer, since Ed and Andrea didn't jump in. Ed, Andrea, you want to jump in?
No.
Ed?
That's a no, and that's a not a no. I want to don't want to jump in. That's a no. I don't think it will ever succeed.
It will not succeed because the two big parties will come together and crush them, right, and make them the them in the them versus us. So a couple other opinions. Jules says, only if the third party offers a viable candidate. One party puts up a candidate who is currently in jail. Brian says it would take people getting fed up enough with the right versus left. Joe Rep says generationally, it's going to take a long time for a third party to become viable. Won't see it anytime soon. Yeah, right. I would like to see it even get a 10% of the vote, because it'd be a wake-up call to the two large parties. But no, sadly, I don't see it happening. Now, my closing thoughts...
Yeah, that's another show.
It is. So closing thoughts on this is, if we can have these conversations individually, then it grows to a larger conversation as a group. It's important to interact one-on-one reasonably, so maybe not in our generation, maybe not in our children's generation, but hopefully it can create that grassroots movement to find a middle ground. Now, I say this after 200 years of this country fighting on each side of the issues, and humanity fighting since the beginning of political interaction, which would be when we got a third person involved in any community ever. So, that's the wrap up. Let's do some closing stuff. Want to let you guys know, if you have opinions on this show and topic or any other, you can email us at talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. If you just want to give out birthday wishes or a special message or a big middle finger to somebody, you can send that within reason, and we'll probably read it on air. That's talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. Don't forget, you can join us live Mondays at 8. We record almost every Monday, barring unseen circumstances coming up. Wow, that...
Circumstances?
Yeah, I know. That Glenn Morangi's done me well, hasn't it? Yeah. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank all of our people in chat for your opinions and input. This was a great discussion, guys, and that's what we need, is a discussion. Because I have seen people on both sides, left and right, conservative, and foreskin, since this... God damn it. But thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the subscribes, the bits, the hosts, the raids, and all these other things we do on the live stream. I also want to thank those folks like Triple U and Ethan Strauss on Patreon, as well as the people who subscribe monthly via PayPal, Musical Wizardry, Berta, and others. We are going to play some outro music here. Don't forget to check out our podcast or the live stream, whatever you weren't a part of for this show. And, wait, closing toast.
Oh,
Ed, would you quickly just sing that theme song of Can Left and Right Be Friends? Thank you, Dave, for those bits.
All we are saying is give peace a chance.
Well, there was that one, and why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Yeah, let's drink to that. Fucking
one.
discussion. Okay. Outro music, we're out, guys.
Thanks for joining us for the discussion shenanigans tonight. You are the one thing that makes the show what it is. Don't forget to join us at the tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day, and steamy dreams every night.
With MailChimp, you get more than a URL. You get an all-in-one marketing platform to help drive sales. With things like data-driven recommendations and powerful automation tools. Get started today at MailChimp.com/smartmarketing. MailChimp, built for growing businesses.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.